Yeah.
How did you get the marching ants?
I'm sorry.
How did you get the marching ants around the whole entire data?
Oh, when you insert the table, when you
Oh, it's
insert
under
the table,
insert.
yeah,
Okay.
it's going to insert it's going to select the entire range, but that is you have to be inside your table. Okay, let me
It's
okay.
okay.
This
I'll
is your
write it down.
data, right?
Uh-huh.
Insert table. You see that?
Okay.
And then click OK. And then just name it data. So that's the name of your table. So now you're ready to insert a pivot table. So once you have your table, we're going to insert your pivot table. Okay. So we're going to analyze this and create a pivot tables and charts and include it in our dashboard. We want to see the sales for your stores. As you can see, these are the dates. Store, we have stores A to I think J, and the salesperson, we just put rep A, B, C, D, E. And in real life, you're gonna have the names of the salespeople, right? And the names of the store you're gonna have in real life, you're gonna have, let's say, Amazon or whatever, right? This is just a sample, so we're just gonna do store A, B, C, D. And the product, of course, you're gonna have a name of the product, but we just have it A, B, C, D, E, product A. The quantity, the price, and the total sales. So for example, store J, salesperson is rep G. For product A, they ordered 50. The price is $5 times 50 is 250. So this is what we have here. Okay, so now let's insert our first pivot table. So now that we have our table, we're now ready to insert a pivot table. So you can just select insert pivot table. And here we will create the pivot table. We will choose the data that we want to analyze. Okay, so we will select a table or range, which is referring to the name of our table, which is data. And then choose where you want the pivot table report to be placed. We want to put that in a new worksheet. If you choose existing worksheet, it's going to be in this existing worksheet, which is it's not nice, right? So we want existing worksheet, and then we will select OK. So now there's a new sheet that's added. So when you add a new sheet, it's going to be by default named sheet 1. Okay. So we can just name this, maybe double click that. We can name that pivot tables or analyze or whatever. We can just put here analyze and then tap enter. Okay. So now we are going to create our first pivot table. So for your first pivot table, you want to look at the data because you want to start from a high level and work way down. So what you want to do is you will select your, wait, here you can see the pivot table fields. And these are the fields that you saw in your database. Okay. So let's go ahead and insert let's analyze this by the total sales by, let's say you want to analyze this by date, okay? By date. So here you have the months, and then let's say you want the total sales. So if you click the total sales, because it has numerical value, just a review from last week, you can actually click this and it will be directed to the values field because it has numerical value.
Valid.
Or you can just
Valid.
drag it, okay? So if you want to show, see, this is actually the date, right? If you expand these, it's going to actually show the dates, right? If you don't need that, you can just, you see the date here at the bottom, you can just throw this away, click it and throw that away. So it will just give you the months, okay? So this is one analysis that you have. Okay, let's just leave it like this. And then for the other one, we're going to insert another pivot table, which will show, let's say we want to see sales by products. Okay. So we can put it here in the same sheet. What you can do is you can just select this
Uh,
pivot table.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
question here. When we uh, select the date, it give us months, and when we expand it, it give us a day and a month. What
Yeah.
about the year? Yes, there is no year
Well,
here. How can I
because,
know this? What year can I know?
okay, this one, we have the year here, right? These are all, let me see. Let me see if we have, this data is only for
17.
2017. That's why it's not showing it. This data is only for 2017.
Maybe another this table maybe included uh, 2 or 3 years. How can I know this
Yeah. Well, because
for
Isam,
for what year?
Isam, because our data is only for 2017, right? It's only for 2017. So when you selected the date, it doesn't show the year. But if you have 2 years, for example, you have 17, 18, 19, or 7, 18, you're going to have another one here, which is the year. But because this data is only 1 year of data, okay? So if you added, for example, the date, it's going to show the months and the date and the years, and you can just throw away if you want it by months, then you throw away the date and then the year. But this one doesn't show the year because it's only 1 year of data. Okay, maybe we'll get another file later
Okay.
that has other years. Okay, so did you throw away the date? So we're only looking at the months. Now we're going to create another pivot table in this same sheet. So one way of doing that is you can select the entire pivot table, and you can just copy this. You can either select copy from the ribbons, or from your keyboard, you can select Control-C, and then you will see the marching ants around it. And you can just put it maybe here in row 18, and then you can select Control-V. So what happens here is you just copy this pivot table, right? And to remove this marching ants, you will just select Escape. So because we copied it exactly, but we want to analyze it by, let's say, store, what is the total sum of sales for each store? What do you have to do? You just have to pivot this. You have to change the dates to store. So I will uncheck the month, or I will throw this away, whatever you want to do. And you want to
I didn't hear you. Did you
do
say
it by store and then the total sales. So there
hello?
you go.
Hello?
Yes.
To get the,
Yes.
to get the second one, did you say Control B as in boy or D as in dog?
Oh, V as in
Oh,
Victor to copy. V as in Victor.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, you can also use the ribbons for that. So now, as you can see, you have the total sales for stores A to J, right? This one is the total sales for each month, January to December. For example, January, we're going to fix the numbers later, okay? So, okay, let's fix it now so it's not confusing. So you can right click on the first number on B4, and you will select number format. Then you can just change this to maybe the number formats. Let's use the 1,000 separator, and maybe no decimal places, 0 decimal places. Then click OK. So now it's more clear. So for January, we have a total sales of 29,219, and this is for each month. And then the total is 394,380. Now, if you look at the stores, so let's go ahead and right-click this number, select the number format, select the number category, use the 1,000 separator, no decimal places. So here you will see that store A has $40,000, 321 in sales, and so on. So total sales is 394, 380. Okay. So let's add another pivot table. We're going to analyze our data by product. Okay, this is by month, by store, by product. So you can insert a pivot table differently if you select insert pivot table, and this will show up. And the data, the table, you don't have to go back to the database. You can just type the name of your table. I think we named it to data, right? And because we're in this sheet, we're just going to keep it here, existing worksheet, actually in row 31, A31 right here, and then click OK. So there's pivot table number 3, which is blank. So that's one thing good about inserting a table and renaming your table. Okay, so we're going to analyze this by products. So we're going to select products, and then also the total sales. So this is just a very simple dashboard, very, very simple pivot table. So you just get used to it, right? So, and then we'll just do some more at the end of the semester, like when we get to our Power Pivots in Power BI. Okay. So as you can see, so let's go ahead and right click the first number, select number format, number category, use thousand separator, no decimals. So for product A, they have 15,190 in sales. Okay. And the rest of it. And then now that's a total.
Jennifer, did you on the values column, did you click fit on that as well?
The values column, this one?
The sum of total sales.
Yeah. If the rows and the values, you can check the boxes. It goes directly to the values.
So total sales.
If it has numerical values,
yeah,
it will automatically go to the values.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Or you can just drag it, whatever you prefer, you can just drag the fields to their boxes.
Yeah, it's just my computer works a little different.
Oh, you can drag
Yeah.
it. If it's easier for you, you can drag it.
Yeah.
Jennifer, I have a different value.
Huh? You have different value?
Yes, for product A, you have 15,000. I have 35.
Is your total
I
394?
have 40. I'm sorry, 40.
Is your total 394,000?
Yes. Yes.
Did you select product?
Oh, I'm sorry. For product,
Yeah,
I have the same.
that's
I was
store.
looking at store. Yes.
The store is 40.
Okay.
The product is 15.
Sorry for that.
That's okay.
Thank you.
So again, let's practice. Do any method you want. You can either just copy and paste this and change the fields, or you can select row 44 and you can select insert a pivot table. Where are you getting the data? From our table, which is named data. In your existing worksheet, the location is actually starting in A44. Do you see this, A44? And then click OK. So let's analyze our data, maybe sales of our rep by store. Let's see how it looks. So maybe we want to see our salesperson by store. Maybe, where's the store? If you put that here, it's going to be under rep A, store A to J. Or if you want to put the store in the columns, let's see how it looks. This is how it's going to look. And then the total sales. If you want to see it like this. Okay. So this one is showing you, let's change the number format. Right click, number format, number. use thousand separators, 0 decimals. So this is showing, let's say for rep A, so he sold 3,820 for store A, and then for store B, and then his total sales for all stores A and B is 40,000. Okay, so as you can see here, 40,000 store A. Or we can just do it by rep. So if we remove the store, so this is now by rep because we don't have the rep yet, right? We have the months, the store, the product, and by rep. So rep A sold 40,624. But actually, if you want to add a store as a row, right? And then you can just collapse it. Or you can just right click and expand collapse entire field. There you go. You can still see the store. You just have to expand it if you want to analyze it that way, right? But if you don't want to see it per rep, then you will have to uncheck the store. Okay. So let's say you have 4 different pivot tables. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add charts for visuals so we can copy it and have it in our dashboard. We're going to have another sheet for our dashboard and create that dashboard. Okay, is everyone okay? We have the month. You can even change this to month. And then this one, just click the row label and type over store. And this one, product, you can just type over product. And then the last one, you can just type over rep. Okay. So you won't be confused. Okay. Now we're going to add a chart. So before we do that, let's name our pivot tables first, okay? So this is our first pivot table. You can click inside, and in your pivot table tools, you select Analyze. On the upper left-hand corner, you will see pivot table name. So pivot table 1 is if you insert your first pivot table, it's going to be renamed. It's going to be named pivot table 1. So let's go ahead and name this. Double click and name this month pivot. Just month pivot is okay. And then tap enter. And we're going to do it for the second one. We're going to do this store pivot. And the next one here, just click any cell. Pivot table number 3 will be renamed product pivot. And the last one, you can rename this rep pivot. So we rename our pivot tables, right? Okay. Do you need more time?
A little bit.
Okay. You don't see that black bar anymore, right? Hopefully not.
No, Jennifer.
No, it's
Yay.
not. It's not
Thank
there.
you. Yes. Okay, when you're ready. Okay. Okay, so once you have all your pivot tables and you renamed your pivot tables, we can now insert charts to visualize it when we insert our dashboard. So let's click on the first pivot table, which is our month pivot, and we will insert a pivot chart. So you have to be in Analyze tab and select Pivot Chart. insert a pivot chart tied to the data in this pivot table. So go ahead and you can choose any chart. The important thing about creating a dashboard is you want to have a variety, right? You can have a cluster column chart, a pie chart, a bar chart, a line chart, right? You want to have a variety and also the colors, right? So maybe by month, you can choose anything. You don't have to follow me, right? I'm just going to choose a cluster column. You can even choose a 3D cluster column if you want. I think this is nice. And then click OK. So this is chart 1.
I'm not sure if I have that choice of
The
different
chart?
charts. Yeah, because when I click, it automatically just gives me one chart.
Just one?
Yeah,
I think
as soon as I click on it,
you click the pivot table and then do you have this thing, the analyze thing? Analyze tab?
pivot table analyze, and then to the right is where I have the pivot chart.
This one?
Yeah, well,
And then-
mine looks different.
Okay, you
When
don't
I
have options to choose
No,
from?
I do not. I do not.
You have, for sure you have, because it couldn't be
Yeah,
just one.
I just
Yeah.
gotta find it, I guess.
Yeah. Can you share your screen? Oh, what about, do you have something like all charts that you can open?
There's,
All charts. You have to find it like,
options. No, I'll just go with whatever it gives me, and then I'll figure it out later.
okay, you can share your screen, huh?
No, I'll just go with the one, and then I'll figure if I can find out options.
You know what you can do? Let me see if this one works. Oh, this one doesn't work. Can you right click on the pivot chart and do you have anything here? You right click it.
Let me see. Yeah, that's pivot table options. Nothing about charts. Yeah.
Analyze.
Yeah, I think Mac is limited when it comes to pivot tables.
Analyze design. How about design? No, and it has to be analyzed, and you have to click the
Yeah.
pivot chart, and then it has to be. Yeah. Okay.
This sign. No, it just gives you the signs. That's okay. I'll deal with it later.
Okay. So when you're creating a dashboard, it's always nice to just have a simple one, like a title of the chart. We don't want to have a lot of these fields here because we're going to insert a slicer later anyway if you want to filter your data. So we want to remove all of these fields except for the title. So let's go ahead and change the title first, okay? So click on the word total, click that 3 times, and maybe we'll have a title, sales by month. Okay. Sales by month. And we want to remove these fields because it's always nice to have just the title and the chart itself, right? So to remove these fields, you can right click on either one of these, right click, and then you will see hide all field buttons on chart. Okay. And now that hides those field buttons that you saw earlier, right? And then this one here is a legend. So if you click inside your chart, you see this chart elements tab that has like a big green plus. We are going to remove the legend. So if you select legend, okay, so this is This is your, you
On
can
select.
actually just click this and tap delete. You can actually just do that. Okay. So, and don't worry about the size or anything, because this is all going to change when we put that in our dashboard. Now, for store. So let's click inside your store pivot, select analyze, and we're going to insert another pivot chart. So this time, change the style of your chart, the type. So maybe I'll choose a bar chart this time. You can choose a pie chart or a line chart. I'm just gonna put a bar chart this time and select OK. You know that you can also change the color of your series, right? And we learned that. We're gonna do that later. We're just gonna
What
add
type of chart is that, Jennifer?
bar.
Bar.
Mm-hmm.
See, once I figured out, once I created the chart,
Mm-hmm.
I can right click on it,
Uh-huh.
and then and that's when I get the options.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah,
gonna right click. Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't
Okay,
want to
good,
hold up
good.
the class.
So you found it.
I did.
Okay. So let's put a title here. So click that top total and then double click and type sales by store. So click outside of the box. If you click enter, it's going to give you one space down. So just click outside of that. Then we're going to remove this legend. So click it and just tap delete. And we're going to hide, right click, hide all field buttons on chart. Okay. So next one, product. You're going to click the product pivot. You're going to have to click each pivot table to insert a pivot chart for that, because the pivot chart connects to your pivot table. So this one connects to your month, this one connects to your store, and we're going to connect one chart that connects to your product. So analyze, pivot chart, and maybe you can, I'm going to try a line chart, a pie chart, and I can try a 3D pie, and then click OK. Okay, so, and you can always change the charts later. If you change your mind, you can, very easy. All you have to do is click inside your chart, and then you will go to design, change the type right here. You can always change the type. Now, if you want to change the style, so you click inside the chart and you can actually change the style. You see, I hover. I actually like the style that's kind of rounded, kind of this one. And there's more at the bottom. Okay. I kind of like this one. So it gives me the product names. So I'm going to use that for now. Okay. So you can see it's color coded, and you can see on the side the product names. So I'm going to change the title of this to sales. We're going to change the fonts later, okay? Sales by product. We're going to hide. So right click, hide the field buttons on chart. Okay. So the fonts are not the same, but we can change that later. Now the last one. So click on your rep pivot, analyze, pivot chart, and you can pick anything, like maybe, I think I'm going to change. I think I'm going to do the rep for the products, for the pie, and maybe the product. Actually, you know what? Okay, this is what I'm going to do. Isn't it better if we have the months as a line, So I'm going to go back to the month. I will go back to design, and I'm going to change the type to a line chart. There. And I'm going to click OK. Because, when you're dealing with dates, you can see it's better to have a line chart. You can put any chart you want, but you know, as a variety, I want to have a line chart. So this works best with the month. See, January, it went down to February, went up to March, down April. May is the highest sale, right? And then I'm going to change this to, a column chart.
The pie chart?
Huh?
Which one?
The pie chart to column, but you can use anything. I'm gonna change this, but I don't want to put the product name there. So I'm going to go to the chart styles. And actually this one, if you go to the chart elements, you want to remove the data labels. The data labels, let me see. Just click this and maybe right click and delete. Okay, so there were data labels here, which is too much. So you just right click and then just delete. So it looks like this, right? And then we're going to change the title because here sales by month, sales by store. Oh yeah, sales by product. And we're going to remove the axis if you do have it. So axis title, uncheck it. And there you go. Okay. If you can always change it. You can always change the style. Let's say if you go to design, chart styles, you see how different styles that you can choose from, right? This is kind of nice. I'm gonna use that. Okay. So this is the line chart. This is a column chart. This is a bar chart. This is a column chart. Now for the reps, I'm going to use a pie. So select your rep, pivot, analyze, pivot chart. I'm going to use a pie chart for that. And I'm going to use a 3D pie. You can also use a donut if you want. So 3D pie. And I'm going to hide all fields. Because later on, when we add slicers, you can actually filter all of these. You don't need to have the legends because it's just too much for the
Uncheck it.
Yeah. So you can change the title to rep total sales by rep. If you expand these, do you see how I'm expanding these? It's just too much, you know? So it's either you collapse it or we're not going to include this. So I'm just going to not include this because I have the stores anyway, and we can also filter that later. So it's not really necessary to include that. So if you click inside your, it's not like we're just hiding it. We're actually removing it from our pivot table. So click inside your pivot table and make sure you have your field list on the right side. And I'm actually going to just remove the store. So there you go. And then we're going to remove all these. Just click that and tap delete on your keyboard. Okay.
You removed everything you said?
Yeah, I removed, you just click inside your pivot table, and in your pivot table field, I actually removed the store because we had a store, right? I removed it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's not necessary because when we add it to the dashboard, you can actually filter it by the slicers that we're going to add. So this
Can I
chart,
ask a question?
yes.
Why did you remove which rep was which color on there?
No, I'm still we're still gonna change the design.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna click inside, I'm going to design, and there are different designs here, but I actually like this one. It's kind of rounded and it has, see this one? So I'm selecting style number 8. Okay, Stacy? This is
Yeah.
style 8.
Yeah, got it. Yes. Thank you.
Sales by rep, sales by product, sales by store, and sales by month. So you can change the colors here, or you can change it when you add it to the dashboard, or you can even change the theme. Well, I think we're just going to change the theme later. So let's name your charts. Okay, so let's go to the first chart, go to analyze, and here on the upper left hand you see chart name is chart number 1. We're going to name this month chart. And then here, the second one, store chart. You can name it, but this is easy to remember. It's store chart, right? Store pivot. And then this one, product chart. And then the last one will be rep chart. Okay. So now you have your pivot tables and then your pivot charts. You name them. Now we're going to add slicers. Okay, so slicers, we probably want to look at it later. We're going to add it to our design. Let me see. We'll add that later. Okay, we're going to add the slicers later. So what we're going to do, we're going to design our dashboard now. So add another page, another sheet. And we're going to name this dashboard. You can have the dashboard in the first sheet. You guys remember how to move the sheets, right? Analyze and then database. So dashboard. So when you open the file first and you have it in the dashboard, and when you save it, the first page that will open is your dashboard, and then your analysis, and then your database. So we're going to design the dashboard first, and we're going to want to have it.
Can you go back a little bit, please?
Where?
I got a little bit behind.
Analyze?
How do you create the dashboard?
Me too.
You just add
Me too.
another.
I don't know how you did the. I don't know how you
just
got
add a
that
new
blank
sheet.
sheet.
Oh, just add a new sheet. Okay.
Just add a new sheet, and it's gonna be named sheet number 2, right?
Yeah. So that's
And then
Where are you adding this new sheet? I don't see where you're clicking.
the little circle with a plus in the middle.
I don't see it. Is it at the bottom?
Yes, at the bottom of your sheet.
Oh, okay, that's right. I can't see the bottom of my screen.
Yeah.
For some reason, it blocks it off. Thank you.
Okay. So now we are going to let's see. We're going to design this a little bit, okay? So you can have, we can change the colors later because there is such thing as theme. So you don't have to actually worry about the colors for now, okay? So we're gonna add like a title right here of our dashboard. But first, let's go ahead and go to layout and go to orientation, and we're gonna do the landscape. Okay. Now we're going to insert. Select insert from your tab. From your illustrations group, go ahead and select shapes. Then you can select maybe a rectangular shape. Do you see a rectangular shape there? Just click that. And once you click it, you will see like a plus icon right there. And you can start drawing, like maybe, let's see, up to let's see, maybe up to 3. We'll see how this looks like. Up to row 3, like maybe M, okay? I'm just going to go to file and see how it looks. Okay, that's about okay. Maybe we can make it a little, maybe up to 2 only. Okay. So because of the styles that I have right now is like green. I don't know what color is yours. I don't want to worry about this. I'm just gonna change the colors later. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna type holes the name of your store. So you can think of a name of the store. This is a wholesale supply stores, right? So you can just maybe type here, let's say whole, or you can think of another name. So if I type here wholesale supplies plus, you can think of another name, right? And then I select that text, and you can make it larger text, maybe 14 or 16. You can have it in bold. You can change, you're designing your dashboard now. You can change the text. So you can just pick any from here now, and you can just change it later. And you can have it centered like this. Okay. You know, a dashboard is not meant to be printed because it's meant to be shared, because it's interactive. You really don't want to print your dashboard. There's no use in printing it. I just want to see it just in case you want to print it for your own, you know, I don't know, sample, whatever, but it's not meant to be printed. Okay. So you don't have to worry about.
How did you make the letters bigger?
You have to select the letters.
Oh, I see.
And then you go to the font group and change the size right here. Okay. So now we're going to add your pivot table, not pivot tables, but your pivot charts. And also we're going to go back to analyze. So we're actually not adding the pivot tables. We're actually adding the slicers on your data, on your dashboard, right? So what you're going to do for each pivot table, let's start with pivot table number 1. We're going to select analyze, and we're going to insert slicers. So the slicers are the one that we're going to insert on our dashboard, not the pivot tables, right? So let's select the slicer for the month, and also for the store, and also for the product and the salesperson. So we have 4 pivot tables, 4 pivot charts. And these are the store, the salesperson, the product, and the month. So you can insert slicers all in one time. So by selecting these 4 fields, you're actually adding 4 slicers at the same time. So just click OK. And you have 4 slicers right there. Let's go ahead and move these around just for you to see. You don't have to have it in this order. These are the slicers and the charts that we're going to move to our database dashboard. Okay, so let's name your slicers. So start with store. Oh, I think it's already automatic. Do you have the store already as a slicer?
Yes.
Month. Yeah, the reason why we have that is because we named our pivot table. We renamed our pivot table. That's why we also have the name of the slicers automatically. Okay. Now, here we go. We're going to arrange your slicers and your pivot charts onto your dashboard. And you can do it any way you want. So for, let's go to analyze again. We'll probably put the months here on the left side, the products also, and maybe on top, maybe the store and the sales person, but we can rearrange it later. So the first thing we're going to do is go to analyze, and we're going to we're going to copy all of these or cut. You can cut and paste it on the dashboard, or you can copy. So if you select all your dashboard, select the first one, all your slicers, select the first one, select your control key, and then select the second one, the third one, and the fourth. So all of your slicers are now selected, right? Then you can just right click and let's copy. Let's just copy for now. Copy and go to the dashboard and just paste it anywhere here. Okay, so all your dashboards are now here. Good. So now you're going to rearrange it. So if you want your months to be, for example, here, you can make your slicers narrower if you don't need that much space for the month. And then maybe you can put your products at the bottom. You probably, if you want to narrow that down as well. But if you narrow it too much, you don't see the entire name, right? So maybe a little wider like that. And if I made it wider, so I want to make this also a little wider to match the bottom part, okay? So we'll do it like this for now. Let's say you want the store up here, but you want it to be in horizontal order, not vertical, right? You can actually change the number of columns. Right now, our slicer has only one column. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you push it down, we have more at the bottom. We have 10 total, right? Up to J. So what you can do, you can split this in maybe 5 columns. So you have 2 rows. Select the slicer. Go to your slicer tools. You see these options up here, options. Where you see buttons group, you see columns, there's only one column, right? If you change this to 5 columns, 2 columns, 3 columns, 4 columns, 5 columns. 5 columns, 2 rows. This is good if you have even number of items. So you want to remove the extra space, extra white space, and expand these so you can see the words. Okay. Then we're going to do the salesperson up here. How many do we have? Also 10. So perfect. We can also change that to 5 columns. Expand it. And right there. How are you doing?
I'm still behind.
Okay, go ahead and take your time. How about the other students? Are you doing okay?
I don't have the same kind of one.
You don't have the, if you click this, you don't have the options?
Yeah, I don't have the options.
The slicer tools?
I don't have slicers. I'm trying to figure out where I can find those tools.
Yeah, you have to find it, right?
Yep.
So now, let me see how it looks. Like I said, this is not meant to be printed. I just want to see how it looks. Okay. It's not meant to be printed, so you can actually go bigger here. You can go expand it more. Okay, so now we can add our charts. Okay, so go to analyze. Usually you don't need these here, but we just copied it just in case you want to go back to it. So let's go ahead and select the chart. You can do it one at a time, or you can just click Control and select all of it. Select all of your charts. 1 and 2. So all the charts are selected. And usually you just cut this also and paste it on the dashboard. But for now, we'll just copy it. Right click, copy. go back to the dashboard, and you can just right click and paste. So now you're going to arrange your charts. You're going to resize it. You're going to arrange it. So let's say you have by month here. And you know how to resize your charts, right? And then let's say you have I'm gonna put the rep up here. You have your month here. And I'm gonna make it a little smaller. Make sure you're grabbing the edges like here so it's proportional, okay? It's not, don't just drag it to the right, to the left, up and down. You wanna look proportion, right? And then maybe, what else do we have? You don't wanna look too heavy on the right side or the left side. So I'm gonna put this here. Because if I put the column on the right, it's gonna look too heavy. It's not balanced. So I'm gonna put it here. And if you make this a little smaller, it might be too small. So I probably will make this a little smaller. And I will make this larger. So, and you don't have to arrange it like this. You can arrange it in a different way if you want. It's up to you. And then here, so this is the store. And we're gonna remove the lines later, so you don't see any lines. Okay, let's do like this, right?
So when you're moving the slicers, those don't have to be stretched from the corners. It could be from sides.
You mean the charts or the slicers? Which one? The charts?
The top
Charts or the
slicer?
slicers? The slicers?
Yeah.
This one? Yeah, you can yeah, you can do this to the side. Yeah.
Only the slicers, but not the pivots.
The charts?
Yeah.
The charts because you want to look proportion, because if you like stretch it out to the right,
It will flex out. Yeah.
It's not proportion. So now we're going to change the fonts because they're not all because how they're not the same, right? So let's start with the month. So that's 14. We probably will just have it 12. Let's see if you change it, how it's, yeah, I chose this. If you want to make it in bold, you can make it in bold or not. This one, we're going to change it to this, and I only have 12. But let me see. What is it? There. Sales by product. So you're going to fix all these there. And if you have bold for everything, just bold everything. If not, then don't, because it doesn't look good if it's not uniform, right? So here, I'm going to also change this to 12 and also a bandy. This one, why didn't it a bandy? 12. Okay, let's go here to font settings, and because it's all caps, for me, I don't know for you, I'm going to remove all caps. And there you go. Is yours all caps also or no? And this one, 12. Or you can just use the format painter for that. So if you click this and use the format painter, you can, copy it onto here. Okay. So let's say you have that. Now, one thing that we're gonna do here is, so you have the slicers. The slicers, the use of your slicers is to filter your data, right? So let's say, okay, before I do that, are you okay? Do you have everything? Oh, wait. Hold on. We have, look at this. We have to move this. Let me just, this one doesn't show everything, so we kind of have to fix it. Because see, August, you have to show until December, okay? And oh, by the way, if you see some items here that's not included in your, you can actually hide that from your slicer. So all you have to do is right click on your slicer and you will see slicer settings, and you can check hide items with no data. See, these are no data, right? We only have a data until 17 actually. So you can check this box and click OK. So now you're actually hiding those items with no data because you don't need to show them. So I'm gonna go back, make sure you have all the months showing, all the products showing. I'm gonna go back. And I believe we have up to product J, right? There, product J. So now I have more I can make my charts bigger. Okay, so because it was hiding earlier. So now if you want, you can even stretch it out a little bit so you have more if you want a bigger one, because if I do this and maybe make this a little smaller. Are you okay? Are you guys doing okay? So quiet.
Yes, Jennifer. It's because we're working. I guess
Okay.
that's why we are quiet.
Okay. You can
Jennifer,
always, yes.
how did you spread out your stores in
The
two
stores, which store?
rows? How'd you do 2 rows and the columns?
This one?
The
Oh yeah.
slicer.
So you click inside the slicer,
Okay.
and up here you will see slicer tool.
Option.
Slicer tools.
Option.
Okay. So Jennifer?